Hey everybody, today I want to show you a Vox Berkeley 2 amp. This is a solid state amp that was built probably around late 66 or early 67. It has 45 watts of power, solid state again, and it has a 210 speaker cabinet that has a silver Celestion, not El Nico, but the ceramic speakers they were making at the time, 10-inch, but they're original. In fact, all this is original. I've just recovered it to make it look as new as possible. And so, yeah, a little history behind this amp. It was, again, built probably late 66, early 67. It was Vox's very first attempt at doing a solid state amp, which the technology they thought at the time was changing from a tube to a solid state. It was more reliable as a solid state. Of course, it didn't sound nearly as good, but they did try to get as close as humanly possible to a tube saturation sound with this and the transistors that they used at the time. So it's actually not a bad sounding little amp. It's a one channel. It has reverb and tremolo built into it. And yeah, let's just take a listen. Right now it's probably at about 2.5 on sound. I'm using a tele pickup on the bridge, and I'm going to use it on the single coil sound, and it's going to sound something like this. So it sounds pretty good. The position of the treble and the bass are about noon on this. There was just a little bit of reverb that was on there. It's got a lot of reverb if you really want it, and I'd left the tremolo off. So if you want a more traditional, more like Vox top boost type sound that was popularized by the Vox AC30s, you just want to dial in a little bit more treble. Leave the bass at around noon, and I'll do that right now. So I moved the treble to around like probably 3 o'clock or 8 on the dial, and it's going to have a little bit more bite to it. Sound more like this. So you can hear that has a more traditional, like just a top boost, real, almost a compressed, just really cool sound to it. What I'd like to show you now is that it has a really, really good reverb into it. These amps were known for their super reverb, so I'm going to put the reverb at literally about 2, just to show you how much reverb it can really have. I also have a foot switch for this pedal. It's over here. It's the gray foot switch that came with the pedal. It does work except for the the MRB function. For some reason it's not working that, so I don't usually plug it in that much. So let's hear that same tone again, but let's do it with a little reverb this time. So you can hear even on 2, there's a ton of reverb in this thing, and if you want to turn it up to where you're surfing, it will go there. It really does have a lot of reverb. I'm not a big reverb person, so I usually leave it just enough where I can taste it. Hear it, not too much. I like it usually about right there. It's got a nice ring to it. What I'm going to do now is turn the reverb off, and I'm going to show you the tremolo circuit in it. It's got a depth and a speed control, and I'm going to move the speed till about noon, and I'm going to move the depth to about 2 o'clock. And again, same setting with that treble kind of left in there, so you can get an idea what this kind of sounds like. And it sounds like this. So as you can see, the tremolo actually does sound pretty good in this. These amps, the reverb and tremolo, were really good. They really did a good job of putting the circuits together, even the solid state amp. Last thing I wanted to show you on this is that it has a really good, it takes pedals really well. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Right now I have a old school tube screamer from the early 80s. It's probably the most famous distortion pedal out there. And I've got everything dialed in around, like it's probably around noon across the pedal. Or maybe just a little bit, I'll probably dial it around 1 with a little more treble on it. So what I'm going to do is back the amp back down to the middle positions and back that treble off just a little bit. Leave it on the bridge, and I'm going to pop the humbucker in here. You can kind of get an idea what this thing sounds like. So here is what it sounds like at our setting without the tube screamer. And again, that's dialed in with the humbucker sound. So it does kind of saturate, not in a bad way. It's not going to say it's tube-like, but it's not horrible. Now let's go ahead and put the tube screamer into action. So that's kind of a humbucker sound with the tube screamer. I can also back into more of a single coil to give that little bit more of a bite and not quite so bassy, and it'll sound like this with the tube screamer on. So as you can hear, it actually sounds pretty good with the tube screamer in front of this amplifier. Most tube screamers don't sound very good with the solid state amp. This one seems to sound pretty good with it. So again, just wanted to give you a little rundown of what this thing can do. It's pretty cool. If you're looking for a low wattage amp to play clubs with, it would definitely do the job. It's a great rock, country, blues amp. Doesn't gonna get you into the harder rock stuff, but if you're a blues player or especially a country player, it's going to sound really good. So again, I'm going to kick that off, and here's just a good clean Vox Berkeley 2 amplifier sound. Thanks for watching.